Welcome back to Buck's Garage, where this episode we are working on one really big upgrade to the interior of the Mercedes E550. So I just want to start this episode by saying a big thank you to everybody who has watched one of my videos, subscribed to the channel, liked a video, or commented. I really appreciate it. The channel's doing well. We're up to 230 subscribers, and that really helps me out, helps me know what you guys want to see. The thumbs up, the comments really helps me out a lot, so thanks for doing that, and stay tuned for more good content. I hope you guys enjoy what's coming up. Now, I know this might come as a bit of a shock to some of you younger guys, but I am actually old enough to remember life before cell phones. Crazy, huh? We actually existed before smartphones. Being plugged in all the time has this downside. But there are some big pros too, and one of those I think is the biggest is traveling, and that includes driving. With the modern smartphone, you've got your tunes in the car, you've got your podcasts in the car, you've got driving directions wherever you want to go. So that brings me to my upgrade for the 550 today, and that is Apple CarPlay. Now this car does have navigation built in. It's got Bluetooth streaming, so you can get your music, you can get your podcasts, all of that. But as we all know, built-in navigation in older cars isn't the greatest. There's not really a very good way to update it. It's really hard to use. Typing in addresses on a screen with no touchscreen is difficult. So I don't really use it very much on this car. I do use the Bluetooth streaming, use that for my music and podcasts, and I can control that with the command wheel and all that in the car. But there's a better way to do it, and that is Apple CarPlay. Now, there are a lot of options to consider when you're trying to add CarPlay to your W212 Mercedes. There's retrofit kits out there that have aftermarket touchscreens with Android Auto. You can get a 10, 12-inch screen. Really gets pretty crazy and out of control. I wanted to go with a little bit more OEM fit and feel, and so I'm going to use a kit that utilizes the OEM screen and the OEM command system, and it doesn't have a touch screen, but will add the Apple CarPlay features without having a big screen on the dash or aftermarket look to it. So what I came up with is the RoadTop screen. There's a lot of different retrofit kits out there. You can do some research on mbworld.com, the Facebook groups for W212s. Tons of different options out there, but looks like RoadTop is the best option from what I can see. So let's get into the kit. I'll show you what it comes with, and then we'll get it put in the car and see how it works. All right, so first part of the process is you do have to determine which version of the command system you have. I've got the 4.5. The RoadTop website will help you out with that. But there's lots of places online that will show you based on the buttons and stuff you have and the year of your car, which system you have. So let's get into this kit here. I've got some instructions for cable connection and then how to run the system itself. This kit came off of Amazon. You can get the RoadTop kit from AliExpress, some other websites. I felt more comfortable getting on Amazon. It cost me, I think, $15, $20 more. But I had a better return policy that way, and hopefully a little bit better support if this doesn't work. So that's the way I went, but there's lots of different places to get it. Just check it out online. So getting in here, and this is a new updated version of this kit. The old box is bigger and supposedly doesn't work quite as well. They've done some improvements. So if you're gonna buy this RoadTop kit, make sure you get this newer kit that has this style box instead of the older, bigger gray box. Supposedly this one works a lot better, so we'll find out. And basically it's just a bunch of cables. So what this system does is it puts itself in between your regular command system and the screen, and so you can swap back and forth between your regular Mercedes OEM system and then your CarPlay system. So this just goes in between your stock stereo and the new box. Then you've got a cable for putting an aftermarket rear backup camera and front camera if you need that. I'm just going to use the stock camera. Also has a USB for wired CarPlay and for doing updates to the box if you need to. Comes with a GPS antenna. Or, I'm sorry, that's a Wi-Fi antenna, not a GPS antenna. Then you've got another connecting cable there. And then this is if you've got a certain fitment inside your center console, this will get the sound through the auxiliary plug-in into your stock stereo. So that is it. It's a pretty simple kit. There's not a whole lot here. So hopefully the install will be simple as well. Okay, so I am going to do kind of a step-by-step on how to get everything out of here. There's lots of videos online on how to do this. Some of them are going to be a lot quicker than this, so if you're just stuck on one little spot, RoadTop's got some good videos on how to do some of this stuff. I'm going to go step by step just so there's no questions and we get a lot of detail about how to do this. I've never done it before, so we're going to learn together. So if you want to speed this up, just skip ahead and we'll get to the fun part. So first things first, there's two little tabs under the glove box here. You're going to use a screwdriver and just pull those tabs down. And that should release this side of the trim. Now inside the vents here, there's a tab right here and another one over here that you got to pop those out so that this can come off. So I'm going to start pulling over here and just see if I can get, yep, there's that side, it broke loose, nice and easy. So now we'll do the tabs here. I'm just using a small flathead screwdriver on these. Popping it out until it stays out. Same over here. Okay, those are both out. I should just be able to pull it out now. A little stiff on that side, and there it is. That is easier than I thought it was going to be. That was honestly the part I was scared about the most, so that went well. We'll just undo our clips here. And there is your trim piece removed. Okay, for this next part, there is a screw here, and here we're going to loosen those so we can get the stereo pulled out. That is a T20 Torx. I'm just going to use a small ratchet. Take that out. We'll get that loosened up here. Okay, I had to loosen those T20s a lot more than I thought I would, but they don't actually come out. You're just loosening a little fitment in the back until this pops out. Once that pops out, you've got that loose enough, and you are all set to go ahead and take the radio out. Now, first thing, there's going to be a clip on this side that's going to prevent you from pulling it out all the way. So just release that guy. All right. Now I should be able to pull it out the rest of the way and access all the wires on the back. All right, there's that main harness plug taken off. I just moved this up, and that releases that from the back of the radio. The rest of that came with it. So now I'm down to just these other plugs on the back. I'm going to go ahead and take them off so I can see what we're dealing with here. Alright, so we got most of it unhooked here. Thankfully they're all color coded so it'll go back together easy. This green one does not want to come off, so I don't think I need to get to that one, so I'm just going to leave that for now. But this is that main harness plug. You can see all the stuff going in there. And then these are the other plugs I took off. And this is that one on the far side. Okay, next step, according to my instructions, if the car has a fiber optic cable, which is these two big ones here, that needs to be moved into their power cable. So to do that, you're just going to slide a screwdriver in down here. Release the little clip there, and that should slide out just like that. And we'll just clip that into the same spot on this new guy here, just like that, nice and easy. All right, let me show you my current problem here. So now that I've got some of this stuff hooked up in here, I'm noticing that in here there is nowhere for this black box to go. This thing is going to have to fit somewhere in here. Can't go up there, there's just no room in there, and there's no room down below either. So it's going to have to go, I've seen somebody take the screen out and put it up here in the dash. I'm afraid it's going to get kind of hot up there. So I'm going to end up taking this glove box off and then putting it back somewhere behind there. So, all right, I know I said I was going to go step by step, but that was just a lot of swearing and cursing that you guys don't need to hear. So this is how I got the glove box out. This is the panel that goes in the floor here. There is a T20 there, middle, and other side. Then you just fold that carpet down and this pops out. There is a temperature sensor. You just twist to the side, that comes out. And then this clip on top that goes to your interior light bulb here. That piece comes out. Then the glove box, you've got the 2 screws up top that were here and here. And then you've got 2 on the bottom that came in right here and right here. Those are T20 again. And then last one is there's a little cover inside the glove box hiding this right here that goes right there, and that is a T20. Then this all fell down. There are some clips here, so just pull this off to the side. That will unclip that from the glove box, and you can pull that down, and then there is just one electrical connection there. So that is a quick minute summary of what I spent 20 minutes cursing and swearing about. So now we've got room to hopefully find a spot for our box to live. Looks like it could go up here under the airbag. Hides in there pretty good. We've got a decent amount of space over here. So it's just going to depend on length of our wires. Want to make sure we're not blocking any HVAC stuff. But it looks like there's quite a bit of space right in there. So that's probably where it's going to end up. Okay, we are ready for a test fit on this thing. So I plugged in all these cables that I unplugged. You really don't need to do that. Put them all back in, except for the gray one. That is where our new LVDS cable is going to go to. So you put the dual in there, and this is the feed that was coming off the screen. So you plug one in there, and then I found a nice hole here. You can see my finger sticking through to run some cables through. So I ran my other LVDS. It's going to go to my box in there, and then this is the CAN connection that comes from this big power cable that they gave us. I ran that through. That's going to go into the side of the box with that screen plug-in. So now it's just a matter of making sure all this stuff fits in there. So this is my power cable from the new one and the old that I plugged in here. It gets a little tight here, especially with that fiber optic cable. So this is my new junction here. I'm going to try to shove that down in the hole that's available down there. And then this is the new one that's going to go into the back of the stereo. So it's just going to be a matter of smashing some of this down in there and hoping it all fits, and test fitting the box back in there to make sure it fits without having to force it in there. All right, quick update time. This has gotten a lot crazier than I planned on. I'm going to end up taking this whole center console apart in order to install this thing. Reason for that is you got to get this auxiliary cable to your auxiliary in for your car, and mine has this goofy old style plug-in. So they give you a cord for that, but you got to get that headphone cable into the center console. I want to do a nice clean install, so I'm going to try to run that through here somewhere. And then you also have this USB cable that has to go from your black box in here somewhere so that you can plug your phone in if you want to do wired CarPlay or if you want to do an update on the box. So again, I'm going to try to put that in here somewhere. Should have enough cable to do that. I want a nice clean install, want everything hidden. So I don't use wired cable very often in the car. I plan on using the wireless, but I still want to have access to this if I need it. So I've been taking this apart, and usually the scary thing about taking an interior apart is knowing when to take a screw out and when to just pry on a plastic clip. So there's lots of videos on how to do this online. I'm not going to show you everything, obviously, but first things first, you're going to take this off, and since we've already got the stereo out, it's easier. There's just T20 there, T20 there. That should come loose, and that'll let this out. The trim pieces along here are just clips. This is for the other side, but you'll see there's just a clip on the back, a little tab there. So you're just going to pry that off with your interior trim tool. This is the one I'm using. I definitely recommend that. Just stick it in there, pry it off, and that will come out. And then the cover here for your center console, there's a clip there. There's a hole in the back here. You put a flat tip screwdriver in there. Just release that clip, that slides forward. Then there's another clip on top of that. This guy has to come off, That just slides off of there. And take my cup holders out. And then this panel piece, pry up on the front clips here. There's no screws, just pry up on the front, comes off pretty easy. And then slide that out. There are 2 plugs on mine, maybe less on yours. That piece is out. Then you've got T20 there, 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 and there. And this piece is loose, but this just has to come out before this can slide out. And once that is out, I should have access to everything behind here. I'm going to try to run those cables from my black box there, through here, underneath all this, and into my center console here. I might have to drill a hole in the plastic here, but I want to get those cables in here without seeing any of it. So that is what I'm working on, and I'll show you my progress. All right, quick mention before we get all this buttoned up. Before I put everything away, I wanted to make sure I tested it and make sure everything's working. So as you can see, we've got some CarPlay going on the OEM screen. We've got maps. We've got music. Sound is working. Everything looks pretty good. Just a quick hold of the clear button down here, and that gets me back to my OEM interface that you guys are all used to. Hold it again, and we're back to CarPlay. So, pretty jazzed. Looks like it's all working good. So, now I just got to figure out how to get all of this put away, cleaned up, all my cables put where I want them, get this interior back together. We are all set. All right, we're making solid progress here, and I got to show you guys this because I'm really excited about how this turned out. So I'm going to put my box here like I showed you guys. I've got my cables run here. Got my USB cable. You can just barely see the end of it there. Now I ran that down through here. You can see the hole I chose down here, and that comes in right down here. So this is my USB cable, and this is my auxiliary cable. And there's a nice little slot there that's going to be able to fit under. It's right there. You can see that. And then that runs down here and underneath this piece here, and then comes up with all these other OEM cables here. And this is where it turns out really awesome. I was afraid I was going to have to drill a hole in my console here to run these cables through. But once you've got all this stuff taken out, this guy just pops up like that. And then you can run those cables down underneath where the release for your center console is. And once you fit them right through the middle there, there's actually a hole in that center console that those cables fit perfect. So this slides back down. My cables are coming through right there. And look at this. I actually have some slack I can pull on those cables. So my USB is run through here. You can see it wiggles back and forth. It's almost like it was made to do this. So now I've got my wired CarPlay and my charging right there, tucked up out of the way. Like I said, I'm really not going to use it much. And then my auxiliary cable, I can pull some slack on that, just like that, and have just the right amount of that in my center console. Didn't have to drill any holes. All nice, almost OEM fitment there. All right, the hard part is done. I managed to get this back in. It's a nice flush fit. It did take some maneuvering. I had to get my hand back in here and get all that stuff shoved down below where the back of this fits. But it is in there now. And my CarPlay box fit nicely over here. I was able to run all my cables. Shouldn't interfere with my glove box at all when I put that back in. So we are in good shape there. Got my wires run. Should be just fine there. So I'm going to get the rest of this put together. I'll give you guys a time lapse of putting this together so you can see how it goes together, how it came apart. And then I'll show you how the CarPlay works. All right, as you can see, we are all wrapped up. Got our trim back in, stereo, climate control. Our center console is all put back together. So let's just make sure everything's still working. Car's powering up, screen coming live. Okay, so here is the OEM Mercedes setup. And there it just switched to CarPlay. And there's my wireless CarPlay. So just as quick as that, we are set with the wireless CarPlay. Let me show you how to set this up first. So if I hold the clear button down here by my command button for 3 seconds, that's what takes me back to my regular Mercedes system. You want to make sure your audio is set to auxiliary. You can boost your volume if you need to work with the CarPlay. You can set your sound there, and then just hold the clear again, and we're back to CarPlay. So from here, you can hit back and go to your main screen. You got your phone, music, maps, messages. Everything's running really smooth. You can swap screen to screen by moving your control knob like you're used to, or you can just cycle through with clicking. Go over to the side here, get to all your other stuff, back to the main menu. Let's make sure our sound's still working. There it goes. Skip tracks before I get in trouble with YouTube. Sounds just fine. My biggest concern with this system was I wanted fast startup time. I wanted it to hook up to my phone quickly, so I'm not fooling with it every time I get in the car. So from pushing the on button on the car, it's just that quick to getting everything going. So I'm very happy with that. All right, we are all wrapped up on the upgrade to CarPlay for the interior of this E550. Like I said in that wrap up, my biggest concern with this setup was I wanted something that would start up quickly, hook up to my phone quickly. I want to get in the car and just have it going and be nice and simple. Some of this stuff, some of the retrofit kits with the Android screens, the big touch screens and stuff, they can take a little while to boot up. I have a friend that put one in a C-Class, and in order to get it to hook up to his phone wirelessly for the CarPlay, we were waiting almost a minute, maybe even more, for that thing to boot up all the way and to get that going, and that's really not what I wanted. I really wanted an OEM look and feel, and I wanted it to act and react quickly. And this is doing that perfectly so far. I will do some updates in the comments. I'm gonna get some road miles on this, make sure there's no glitches and stuff. But so far, it's working perfectly. It's exactly what I wanted. It sounds great. And I won't say that standing around in your head taking apart the interior on your car is the best way to spend a Sunday afternoon, but it really wasn't that bad as far as putting it in there, getting the interior apart. Like I said, once you know where there's screws and where there's clips to take apart in that interior, it's really not too bad. So I hope this video helped you out. If you're gonna put this in your car, I'll have links in the description below for all of this stuff. And like I said at the beginning of the video, please like, subscribe, and share if you liked what you saw today. I hope this helps you out. And for now, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. The E550 in the E550 on Buck's garage, in Buck's garage. That's some Inception level stuff right there.